still need to see an ID from me.
And I still need to know what I'm being charged for.
You're fixing to be charged with failure to ID is what you're fixing to be.
Sir, but I don't have to provide you with an ID unless I'm being charged with something and I have done nothing
Where
wrong.
did you go to law school?
I don't have to answer. I plead the fifth.
Got one last chance, you're fixing to go to jail for failure to ID.
Sir, unless you're charging me with something, I do not have to provide you with an ID. Sir, you know the law. Sit on my car. You both sit on my car. Sorry. I know. That's what I'm trying to flex.
This one right here is a jailhouse lawyer refusing to ID.
I will, no problem. I will give my ID if I'm being charged with something. I don't have to show my ID unless I'm being charged with something. That is the law.
There's a probable cause for us to be out here.
Yes, sir.
I want to know who you are. So I'm requesting your ID. You failed ID, I'm going to take you into jail. And that's law.
That's the law?
That's the law.
What's your name, sir?
Lockhart.
What's your number? I'm sorry, I don't have a good video.
1064.
1064, Lockhart. Okay. So what's my charge?
You're not being charged with anything.
Then I don't have to show you my ID, sir.
You're involved in an investigation. You want to interfere with the investigation? You're going to jail for interfering with a police officer in performance of an investigation. Do you understand that?
Sir,
do you understand that? Yes or no?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth? Let me have your ID.
Sarge, can I go on?
No.
I'm going to take a step back because I'm feeling threatened. You are an armed civilian, sir.
Lanisa, please.
No, you can't do this. This is illegal.
Lanisa,
Hey, whoa, she didn't
lay
do
off
nothing.
of her.
She didn't do nothing.
Okay.
Lanisa, chill.
Lawyer.
Lanisa, please.
Lawyer.
Lanisa,
Fine.
just chill. Lanisa,
Please, please.
Lanisa, just chill, please.
I understand.
I did nothing
I understand
wrong.
You didn't.
I
do
did
anything
nothing
wrong.
wrong.
I know you didn't, babe. I know.
Failed to
He's in a
ID.
fight.
I did not.
He wasn't in a fight.
I wasn't in a fight.
He wasn't in a fight.
I know.
We were trying.
First off, the yelling doesn't get you.
Are you testing out a new phone?
No, this is an old phone I bought last year.
You have your ID on you, sir?
So now you suspect me of a crime?
I'm asking you, do you have your ID on you, sir?
I don't know.
Can you record?
Yeah, it's recording.
So now you get to record, but I can't.
Oh, no, I said you can record us all you want. There's office policy that you can't record in there, but you can record us all you want.
It's not Texas state law.
We're law enforcement officers. It doesn't matter if it's Texas state law. If they don't want to serve you in there, they don't have to. Can I have your ID, sir?
Do you suspect me of a crime, sir?
Can I have your ID, sir? Just tell me yes or no.
And if I say no, then what happens?
Yeah. So are you going to give us your ID or no?
You have to identify yourself. Under Texas law, you have to identify yourself to us.
if I'm arrested, right?
No. At any time you're in contact with a police officer.
Law enforcement. So we can only ask you so many times. We're asking you politely and give us your ID.
Alright, I mean, this is not what Texas Penal Code 3802 is.
Thanks.
And the only reason I'm giving it is because it's under arrest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Am I ready?
Can you let me go find out.
To Charles 11. Show me a checking 500 East Overland, preference subject disturbance.
I have a quick question about Texas Penal Code 38.02.
Okay.
One of your deputies told me he was going to arrest me for failure at ID.
Okay.
If I didn't show ID.
Uh-huh.
But he had no primary charge.
Okay.
And so I just want to know what the sheriff's policy is regarding that penal code, because I hadn't committed a crime. He said he was going to arrest me for failure ID if I didn't show my ID.
All right. You know what? I can't comment on it because I don't know the particulars. You'll have to go down and file a complaint in Internal Affairs, and we'll certainly take your statement, and then we'll talk to the officer and find out exactly why they stopped and asked you and made that comment, and we'll certainly look at it and make an appropriate decision on where we should go with it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
What I'm really proud of in terms of law enforcement is that when you look at the challenges, the societal challenges that we're facing as a nation, law enforcement's really at the forefront, I believe, in terms of a deep desire to improve our profession, to build bridges with our community, and a big piece of that is transparency. If you think about the mistrust of government in this nation, where the mistrust of government is at an absolute fever pitch, historic high, it's extremely high, the mistrust of government. The way that we build trust with the community is through transparency and through engagement and through having actual respect for the community we serve, holding each other accountable, the community holding us accountable, us holding the community accountable when they don't do the right thing. And when we do these things, I think we end up with much better outcomes, which means we build trust. So transparency builds trust. And so there's a big difference between videotaping and inserting yourself and interfering. And that's why our policy is clear, it's succinct, nobody should really be confused by reading this policy. And so anybody that wants to know whether it's a policy violation, I think when you look at the video and you read the policy, you can pretty quickly draw your own conclusions, but we'll let the investigation take its course.
How we doing, Andre?
How's it going, Officer Vasquez?
Not too bad. Hey, I need to talk to you, Rob.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and do me a favor. I need you to go ahead and put your phone down for me, please. I know you're recording. You gotta do what you gotta do.
What's wrong?
Okay. The reason why we need to talk to you, you have an active warrant with us.
For
okay.
what?
For interfering. Okay. It's an open case that was presented to the DA's office, and there's a signed warrant for your arrest.
Well, this is a really bad time. I just was done working out. I didn't even take a shower.
And I understand that, Andre, but unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it's an active warrant, so we're gonna have to execute it, sir.
The arrest warrant and any affidavit presented to the magistrate in support of the issuance of the warrant is public information. And beginning immediately when the warrant is executed, the magistrate's clerk shall make a copy of the warrant and the affidavit available for public inspection in the clerk's office during normal business hours. Any person may request the clerk to provide copies of the warrant and affidavit upon payment of the cost of providing the copies. You may have heard of the term indictment before. In Texas, indictments and informations are charging documents, and one or both are necessary to prosecute a defendant. According to the Code of Criminal Procedure, an information is a written statement filed and presented on behalf of the state by the district or county attorney, charging the defendant with an offense. Remember, Indictments are used for felonies or for misdemeanors involving abuse of office by a public servant. An information is similar to an indictment except that it is prepared by the prosecutor. Every criminal case will typically and initially include an information as a charging document. The information will be used by itself as a charging document for misdemeanor offenses or for felonies when the defendant has waived his right to have his case considered for indictment by a grand jury. In either of these cases, the information will be read aloud just before the trial begins by the prosecutor. In order for a felony case or a misdemeanor case involving abuse of office by a public servant to be prosecuted, the prosecutor must also seek an indictment from a grand jury. In this situation, the indictment issued by the grand jury will be read out loud just before the trial begins.
Individual rights and liberties are both in the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution. Additional rights afforded to you as a Texas citizen are found in the Code of Criminal Procedure. In other words, the Code of Criminal Procedure rights complement the U.S. and Texas Constitution and in some cases afford more protection. The Code of Criminal Procedure states, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall have a speedy public trial. It also states, trial will be by an impartial jury.
This is the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the first section. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Any person within its jurisdiction cannot be denied the equal protection of its laws. To me, the 14th Amendment, especially this idea of equal protection under the law, is the whole enchilada for me. First of all, when you talk about protection, that implies that there must be a harm someplace that you're trying to protect someone from. That opens the door to have a whole discussion about reality. A lot of this stuff floats above reality. It's all abstract principle. But to have equal protection under the law means that you're going to have some permission for some activism from the government. You're going to have some permission to talk about inequality, unequal treatment, unfair treatment for they were contemplating African Americans, but they say everybody. So it doesn't say equal protection under the law unless you're a lesbian. It's not what it says. It doesn't say equal protection under the law unless you're African American. It's not what it says. It says if you're in the jurisdiction, you get equal protection under the law. That's radical. 10,000 years of human history, that's radical. And I think it's very, very important that we uphold the 14th Amendment. We talk about the First Amendment, we talk about the Second Amendment, we talk about sometimes the Fifth Amendment, but we don't talk about the 14th Amendment enough. Equal protection under the law.
We know from an early age that changing the rules in the middle of the game isn't allowed. The Code of Criminal Procedure adheres to the same concept, that the rules can't be changed during a criminal prosecution. Due course of law is basically the same concept as due process. It refers to procedural law. Procedural law is the process by which one is found guilty of a crime. The end goal of the Code of Criminal Procedure is that this procedural law be fair and consistent for all people. The Code of Criminal Procedure states, no citizen of the state shall be deprived of life. No citizen of the state shall be deprived of liberty. No citizen of the state shall be deprived of property. This includes your house and your possessions. No citizen of the state shall be deprived of privileges. No citizen of the state shall be disenfranchised. Disenfranchised means prevented from participating in the government. An example are Jim Crow laws that were passed in the 20th century designed to disenfranchise African Americans. None of these shall be taken away except by due course of law of the land. No one can be deprived of anything without due process of law. There must be a hearing, a trial, or a formal procedure for any of these things to be taken away. They can't be taken away arbitrarily. Finally, the formal procedure we use must be fair and consistent for all persons.
You wear any contact glasses? No. You take any medication? Have you been in any big car accidents? No?
Oh wait, no, yeah, I looked at that. But not anything.
But you were 18?
Yeah.
Is it okay to do a few tests just to make sure you're fit to drive?
I'm fine. You don't have to record.
Sir, can you just be way over there? I'm doing a
Texas Penal Code 38.15. The legislature never said anything about proximity. I have a legal right to stand here. Back to work, sir.
But I don't want to be recorded.
You don't have a legal right to demand that.
Isn't there like a law that says you can't?
Unfortunately not. The First Amendment allows me to record. It's nothing personal. You're a criminal suspect. He's doing an investigation.
Nothing I can do about it.
Really?
Here's the problem.
Why is he taking a video?
Huh? Because that's what he does.
That's live TV?
No.
Yes, it is. Is it? No, it's just some guy, some random guy that comes and has the I'm sorry, I apologize.
Like you could like
Hold on. Sir.
I'm just saying.
I have some juveniles here. I'm not sure how old they are, but I'm going to ask you to back away from me. You can videotape from over there, but you're way too close to me.
Texas Penal Code 38.15.
I don't care what your Texas code says, sir.
It's your Texas Penal Code.
You're way too close to me, sir. Just stand
I'm in
over
bounds
there.
of the law, sir.
Stand over there and videotape.
I'll stand right here, just to spite you.
Just to spite me?
Yes, sir. And it's nothing personal. It's the problem I have with you people, not you personally.
Nothing personal, then why are you taking it out on me? I've never done nothing.
First of all, I want to know where the fuck Mr. Reamer is.
What's that?
Mr. Reamer. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I didn't understand you. You're cussing at me?
I'm not cussing at you personally. I'm cussing at the whole organization. What the fuck happened to Mr. Reamer? Where's he at?
I've been respectful to you, sir.
Yeah, I know
I
that.
have no clue what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. HCPD case 1809035. Now do your investigation. I don't know what these girls did.
According to the Code of Criminal Procedure, no information shall be presented until an affidavit has been made by some credible person charging the defendant with an offense. The affidavit shall be filed with the information. For our purposes in this section, an affidavit means the complaint. Finally, the affidavit or complaint may be sworn to before the district or county attorney who, for that purpose, shall have power to administer the oath, or it may be made before any officer authorized by law to administer oaths.
Yes. Okay. All right, thank you. I'll try it. Yeah, I'll use the other lady because I was out of the office. All right, thank you.
This is just to lock down everyone that we come across with, okay?
Okay. I feel you're violating the Fourth Amendment, but...
Huh? Is that button on the 637?
A lot of times they have it on this side, they pop on this side.
Somebody, there's another one where she's at.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Sir, you're good to go. You know, you can leave the courthouse at any time. Just for right now, just don't go back in there. You know, train cool down and come back some other day. You'll be good to go. I mean, you can stay here if you want to, as long as you don't cause a disturbance.
Well, no, I'm not trying to cause any disturbance.
No,
I'm going to turn off my recorder. I need to go in. I need to get my information about my charge.
Okay.
They told me as long as I turn it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you go in there, turn it off, and don't argue with them, you're good.
No, I'm not causing any. I didn't even want to cause any problem.
We're gonna stay out here just in case. Okay?
But you know why we responded, right? The reason is something happened in there. I don't know what happened. Like I said, we showed up later. They pushed the panic button, which automatically requests law enforcement presence.
I could tell because as soon as they saw this phone, everybody was like, whoa, whoa. They acted like I had a gun or something. Yeah. Hi. Need to get an information.
Are you recording, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You're not recording here. You have to turn it off. It is not permitted to be recording here.
Isn't this a public place?
Yeah, you cannot record it here, sir.
This is a public building, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna call. We're gonna move on.
I would say maybe.
Yeah, so I just need my information.
Okay. What, for a misdemeanor case?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can record us.
We need you to turn off the phone. Can't be recording in here.
What law is that?
Hold on. Oh. Let me help out really quick, sorry.
Can I get my information, sir?
You can't be recording us, sir.
Your phone. Are you stating a law?
You can be recording us.
But you have no law to state.
Hi. So we were just letting the gentleman know that he is not allowed to record our conversation while we're trying to get his record from the system. So we would be more than happy to help him with his records. However, he cannot record us.
You got that, sir?
He's asking us to state a law. I mean, it is office policy, and it's also for the safety of our clerks.
The safety?
Yes.
I'm Deputy Robinson at the Sheriff's Office. They do have rules in here. You're more than welcome to record, but not in here. You can record our conversation outside, but you can't do that in here.
As far as I knew, this is a public place, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes,
and
sir.
you swore an oath to the First Amendment, so I should have a right to record this.
But they have office policy that doesn't allow you to do that.
Well, I can see that you guys are bringing the goon squad here.
What's a goon squad, sir?
Well, you're one of them.
I'm a goon squad?
Going harder.
I'm a goon squad. Can you step outside? You guys don't need help. Can you step outside, please?
I'm done recording. Just give my information.
I'm going to ask you one more time to step outside, or I'm going to take you outside.
But what is this all
I'm
about?
going to ask you one more time, bro. Patience goes a long way, bro.
What happened?
I just went in to get my information.
How come they followed you? Don't know.
Well, they obviously got very angry that I was recording getting my information, which, believe it or not, I was only doing it for my own notes.
Because you were recording, that's why they call us.
Yeah.
They question you.
Well, everybody started, whoa, he's recording. And then, yeah, I wasn't even trying to start nothing.
Yeah, that's one of their policies because of the records and because of all the records that they have here that you cannot record in there. You can record here at the courthouse and everything, but not in there.
The phone was like this.
Still, you cannot record in there. You know what I mean? What were you asking for? You don't mind me asking?
Well, I just got out of jail. I'd just like to get the information as to why I was arrested.
When did you get out of jail?
This morning.
Okay, so you already got out of jail.
Yeah.
So you should be clear. We have to know who we're coming in contact with, and then we have to make sure there's someone. That's why we ask for your ID. Okay?
Well, I feel the Fourth Amendment protects me from unreasonable searches of my papers.
We're not searching you.
Well, you're searching my papers by taking my ID.
No, you took it out yourself.
Because you have guns and badges.
No, you could have just told me your name and date of birth.
Even that's a search of my papers. Yeah. But that's an argument for another day.
Are you here from Paso?
I live in Horizon.
Horizon.
Absolutely.
I'm lost. I'm lost. Where do you want to go? You're leaving? Oh, yes.
Right past the elevator.
Pass down.
Go straight down.
Thank you.
Now, do you have a search warrant to be on my property?
Okay. I do not, okay?
Okay, so...
But, listen to me, all right? If you can just provide this information for me, your IDs, if you live here...
I'm not providing you nothing, man. Matter of fact, get off my property right now if you don't have a search warrant.
Sir, I'm
asking you nice.
I have a quick question about Texas Penal Code 38.02.
Okay.
One of your deputies told me he was going to arrest me for failure at ID.
Okay.
If I didn't show ID.
Uh-huh.
But he had no primary charge.
Okay.
And so I just want to know what the sheriff's policy is regarding that penal code, because I hadn't committed a crime. He said he was going to arrest me for failure ID if I didn't show my ID.
All right. You know what? I can't comment on it because I don't know the particulars. You'll have to go down and file a complaint in Internal Affairs, and we'll certainly take your statement, and then we'll talk to the officer and find out exactly why they stopped and asked you and made that comment, and we'll certainly look at it and make an appropriate decision on where we should go with it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just want to let you know that in other parts of this state, the same controversy keeps coming up with other Texas police departments. And, you know, I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not trying to, you know, attack police officers. I just want the law to be followed.
Oh, absolutely. So do we. I mean, we expect our employees to follow the law.
Right.
You have your ID on you, sir?
So now you suspect me of a crime?
I'm asking you, do you have your ID on you, sir?
I don't know.
Can you record?
Yeah, it's recording. So now you get to record, but I can't.
Oh, no, I said you can record us all you want. There's office policy that you can't record in there, but you can record us all you want.
It's not Texas state law.
We're a law enforcement officer. It doesn't matter if it's Texas state law. If they don't want to serve you in there, they don't have to. Can I have your ID, sir?
Do you suspect me of a crime, sir?
Can I have your ID, sir? Just tell me yes or no.
And if I say no, then what happens?
Yeah. So are you going to give us your ID or no?
You have to identify yourself under Texas law. You have to identify yourself to us.
If I'm arrested, right?
No. At any time you're in contact with a police officer.
Law enforcement. So we can only ask you so many times. We're asking you politely and give us your ID.
All right. I mean, this is not what Texas Penal Code 3802 is.
Thank you.
And the only reason I'm giving it is because it's under arrest.
849, transfer complete.
Thank you. Thank you.
You ready? Yeah. Can you now? Let me go find out.
To Charles 11.
To Charles 11.
Show me a checking 500 East Overland, preference subject disturbance.
So Texas Penal Code 3802 Part A states, a person commits an offense if he intentionally refuses to give his name, resident address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has lawfully arrested the person and requested the information. That means in Texas, you have to be lawfully arrested in order to provide your identification. That is Part A. Now let's take a look at Part B. Part B, Texas Penal Code 3802 states, a person commits an offense if he intentionally gives a false or fictitious name, resident address, or date of birth to a peace officer who has 1. Lawfully arrested the person, 2. Lawfully detained the person, or 3. Requested the information from a person the peace officer has a good cause to believe is a witness to a criminal offense. Here's where law enforcement get confused about 3802. Law enforcement believe and don't understand 3802 when it comes to being a witness to a criminal offense. If a law enforcement officer believes that you are a witness to a criminal offense, they think that they have a right to ID you. But that's not what the Texas Penal Code says. It says that you commit an offense if you give a false or fictitious name to a peace officer who has requested the information from a person that the officer has good cause to believe is a witness to a criminal offense. That number 3 in Part B, number 3, that right there, the only thing that Part B says is that it's a criminal offense to give a false or fictitious name. It does not state that you have to give a name or ID. The only time you have to ID in the state of Texas is if you've been lawfully arrested. This is Penal Code 3802. So law enforcement officers that are watching this video, get it right, get it straight. You don't get ID from us unless we're in handcuffs and we are lawfully under arrest. Okay, let's continue.
In Texas, the police can approach anybody they see in a public place at any time they like and engage them in conversation. This is a consensual encounter. Now, in order to compel somebody to participate in this conversation, to detain them from walking away, the police officer must establish reasonable suspicion that that person is engaged in or will engage in some sort of criminal activity. Reasonable suspicion can be based on any facts that the police officer observes. These facts can be just as consistent with lawful activity as they are with unlawful activity. In fact, in the U.S. Supreme Court case that established the idea of reasonable suspicion, a gentleman known as Terry was doing nothing more than walking up and down the streets of Cleveland looking in store windows. Yet, the U.S. Supreme Court determined that these were sufficient facts to believe that Terry, along with his compatriots, were casing businesses for a later break-in. This is where the reasonable suspicion standard was adopted. In the event that the police officer develops facts that lead him to believe that somebody has committed a criminal act, this is called probable cause. And probable cause allows a police officer to actually place somebody in arrest for suspected criminal activity. If the officer establishes probable cause and arrests an individual, at that point, the person is compelled by law to produce their identification. However, prior to the establishment of probable cause, whether it's a consensual encounter or whether it is an encounter based upon reasonable suspicion where the officer has lawfully detained the individual, there is no compulsion that the person identify themselves. In Texas, only after an arrest is a person compelled by law to present their ID.
What's your name, sir? And badge number?
My name's Lipsy, badge number 11.
Thank you, sir.
Can I see your ID, please?
Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
I didn't suspect you of anything. You're
Are you,
on our property.
are you detaining me?
See your ID.
Am I not allowed to walk here? Sir, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm just exercising my right.
Any unit, I need some backup over here, please.
I'm just exercising my right as an American, sir. Am I being detained? Yes or no, sir? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
$781, are you available?
Am I being detained or am I free to go? Sir, I'd like to go about my day. Okay, I'm going to go about my day since I'm not being detained. Have a nice day, sir. I'm trying to be polite, nice, and just exercise my rights. Have a good day, sir.
Yes, sir. Are you available? Sir, do you have an ID?
I'm just trying to take a walk. Am I being detained?
Do you have an ID on you?
Am I being detained?
You're not being detained, sir.
Thank
I'm
you.
asking you for your ID.
and I refuse, I don't have to, sir.
I'm in
Unless
the
I'm
field
being
over here,
unless I'm being accused of a
on
crime.
MCC property
You think there's
off of
about ready
Mockingbird.
to be a crime committed? Do you think there's about ready to be a crime committed? Then have a nice day, sir. I'm just trying to enjoy a nice walk. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. I asked you politely for your ID.
And I refuse, sir. I don't have to give it to you. Texas state law. Please look it up. If you don't want me being here and this is your property, I'm walking right off the property, sir. As far as I knew, this was public property. It's not posted anywhere, no trespassing. So have a nice day, sir. I wasn't aware of anything. I'm doing anything wrong. Hello, ma'am. Am I being detained?
Are you being detained?
Yes, is there-
Pull over here. I'm going to talk with this officer and find out what's going on.
Are you the supervisor, ma'am?
I am Officer Walter.
What's your badge number?
Our chief of police is on his way. If you will wait right here while I get the information.
Am I being detained or
of why you are here? Okay, hold on just a second.
just taking a walk, ma'am?
MCC Police Department. Oh, ma'am, we've got a police officer that's over there trying to unlock a vehicle for a gentleman that works here. Thank you for calling. That's okay. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Ma'am, I just don't trust police. I don't like to talk to them.
Well, I'm sorry. If you'll just hang on just a second, I've got to get some information.
If there's a reason I'm being detained, I need to know about it.
If you will give me just 1 minute, okay? If you will just hold on.
Ma'am, I've already given this gentleman a minute, and he said that I'm on the property, so I'm just trying to exit.
I just got here. I've been here like 30 seconds, okay? Hold on just a second.
Ma'am, am I suspected of committing a crime? Do you think there's a crime about ready to be committed?
No, sir, I don't.
Ma'am, that's just Texas law.
If you just hold on just a second.
Sir, am I free to go?
Okay, sir. I'm sorry for keeping you. You can be on your way. The officer here was just asking if you were okay, and you were walking back through the woods and everything, so you're not being detained. You're free to go. Okay. I'm
Ma'am, can you?
Walter.
I don't trust police, and I've never had a good experience with them. That's why I'm like this.
I'm sorry.
I don't like my rights being stepped on, and you, sir, cannot detain somebody and ask for ID unless you suspect a crime of being committed. Suspect me of committing a crime.
Here, people trespassing.
Like I said, there's nothing posted anywhere. I'm just trying to take a walk.
Okay. That's
Which,
fine.
as an American citizen, it's my right to do that.
You're free to go, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Have a great day, ma'am.
You too. Appreciate it.
Describe a little bit. What is the goal? What is it that your channel is all about that you're doing right now?
Well, I run a pro-police website, and we're also pro-accountability. My feeling is, and I haven't always felt this way, but my feeling is that the government via the police have begun to very quickly erode our personal rights. And along with that is, there are a lot of misconceptions amongst the police, some of it intentional, some of it unintentional, about exactly what laws are in place and what they mean. For instance, in Texas, our stop and ID law is very liberal. Basically, you only have to identify yourself if they arrest you for something. It's a secondary charge, and yet people are arrested for failure to ID on a regular basis. And that's, it's one of the issues. The other issue is that, police officers that do wrong aren't punished. and basically get away with doing wrong. And so we seek to expose that and seek to get accountability for whatever wrong was committed.
So it really is the type of content that we would have maybe seen back in the 80s on 2020 or one of the mainstream television stations that had a budget to do actual investigative journalism and find corruptions in government, corruptions in police, or whatever. But we're not seeing much of that in mainstream media these days, are we?
It's become too much of a liability because the police unions, specifically the Fraternal Order of Police, has a massive bank account, and so they pressure the networks not to focus on that type of activity because it makes their members look bad.
Sure. And to be fair, I mean, much with as any other job, there's always some rotten apples that screw it up for everybody who's doing their job the way they're supposed to, right?
Absolutely. I one of the things you'll find on my channel, remember I said I was pro-police, you'll find the good stuff as well as the bad. Matter of fact, the good stuff turns out to be about 80% of the content that I host on my channel.
Yeah. And it may not be as fun to watch with less controversy, I'm sure, but nonetheless, you present all sides.
I try to be fair and balanced, yes.
Yeah. I think that's somebody's slogan, so let's not go there, but...
Oh, well.
But it's what I really like about it is, again, it's the idea that anybody can buy a camera or two and then really put a focus on an area they want other people to know about, whether it's police corruption, whether it's the banking system, whether it's illicit drug sales, whatever the topic is. We're not at the mercy of the old media to wait until somebody decides to get around to doing a story on it. We can actually go out there and be the journalists, be the people that ignite the fire and sometimes make change happen. And
absolutely.
Have you had instances where activities that you've done that sort of put a magnifying glass over some activities actually result in change?
Absolutely.
Going harder.
Can you step outside? You guys don't need help. Can you step outside, please?
I'm done recording. Just give my information.
I'm going to ask you one more time to step outside or I'm going to take you outside.
But what is this all
I'm
about?
asking one more time, bro. Patience goes a long way, bro. You have your ID on you, sir?
So now you suspect me of a crime?
I'm asking you, do you have your ID on you, sir?
I don't know.
Can you record?
Yeah, it's recording.
So now you get to record, but I can't.
Oh, no, I said you can record us all you want. There's office policy that you can't record in there, but you can record us all you want.
It's not Texas state law.
We're law enforcement officers. It doesn't matter if it's Texas state law. If they don't want to serve you in there, they don't have to. Can I have your ID, sir?
Do you suspect me of a crime, sir?
Can I have your ID, sir? Just tell me yes or no.
And if I say no, then what happens?
Yeah. So are you going to give us your ID or no?
You have to identify yourself. Under Texas law, you have to identify yourself to us.
If I'm arrested, right?
No. At any time you're in contact with a police officer.
Law enforcement. So we can only ask you so many times. We're asking you politely and give us your ID.
All right. I mean, this is not what Texas Penal Code 3802 is.
Thanks.
And the only reason I'm giving it is because it's under arrest.
849. Transfer complete.
Thank you. Thank you.
You am I ready?
Yep. Can you Let me go find out.
2 Charles 11.
Charles 11.
Show me a checking 500 East Overland. Preference subject disturbance. 1029 one-time black man.
Well, everybody started, whoa, he's recording. And then, yeah, I wasn't even trying to start nothing. The phone was like this.
Charles 11.
Go ahead.
Well, I just got out of jail. I just have to get the information as to why I was arrested. Thank you.
2 Charles 11.
10-4-20, you broke.
It'll be 500 East San Antonio at the courthouse, checking 1, subject disturbance.
Well, I feel the Fourth Amendment protects me from unreasonable searches of my papers.
1435.
Well, they're searching my papers by taking my ID.
2 Charles 11.
Because you have guns and badges.
Chief Davis 6-1.
This bitch sucks, dude.
But that's an argument for
Chief Davis 6-1. 2729, check white male.
No, the reason you're IDing him is because he was causing our disturbance. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we were summoned here, so we have a legal right to be here.
Absolutely. First one phonetic, Ida, Sam, Adam, Ida, date of birth, 1991, 1012, by word of mouth. 1436.
2 Charles 11. Espérame.
2 Charles 11.
1029 one time.
2 Charles 11, you're coming in 10-1.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll try. Yeah, I'll use the other radio because I was out of the office. All right. Thank you. Bye. Hmm?
Just to let everybody that we come across you.
I feel you're violating the Fourth Amendment.
Huh?
A lot of times they have it on that side, they talk on this side, or this
Somebody,
side.
either there's another one where she's at over here,
Good
but
to go?
births. Yeah. One-
Sir, we're good to go. Leave the courthouse at any time. Just for right now, just go back in there, put them on, back some other thing. You'll be good to go. I mean, you can stay here if you want to, as long as you don't cause a disturbance.
Well, no, I'm not trying to cause any disturbance. I'm going to turn off my recorder. I need to go in. I need to get my information about my charge.
Okay.
They told me as long as I turn it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you go in there, turn it off, and don't argue with them, you're good.
No, I'm not causing. I didn't even want to cause any problem.
We're gonna stay out here just.
But you know why we responded, right? The reason is something happened in there. I don't know what happened. Like I said, we showed up later. They pushed the panic button, which automatically requests law enforcement presence.
I could tell because as soon as they saw this phone, everybody was like, whoa, whoa. They acted like I had a gun or something.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk to their supervisor in regards to the incident and see what they want to do in regards to the recording. Okay. Like I said, I don't know their policies, so they have their own policies in there. But we'll talk to their supervisor to see what the recording policies are. And you can ask to speak to a supervisor as soon as you walk in there if you feel something wasn't done right. Okay. But if we're called and we believe there was a disturbance, we have every right to ask for your ID, and you have to provide it.
I'm not mad at you guys.
Okay.
I know that you guys, of course, you don't know what you're coming into. But these people in here, somebody needs to have a big sit down and talk about that there's policy and law. So,
like I said, for right now, just to what you found, just go, put it on the phone, put it away. Request the information, get what you want, and if you're gonna complain later on that way. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I'm not.
But like I said, you're more than welcome to go back in there and ask them to speak to a supervisor and have them explain their policies.
I think I'll do that another day. I'm not looking for any trouble.
Okay,
I just-
sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, don't forget your stuff.
They actually said right now if they'll help you out as long as you're cool and collected. And that's all we want here, brother. Let me tell you.
I was cool.
And I understand that, but it's because their office policies, they don't allow for certain things like that. We don't enforce their office policies. That's why I said if you want to record, you record outside. You're all good. But we can't tell you, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because it's their rules. And I know where you're coming from. I
Yeah.
totally understand where you're coming from.
Right.
But we can't enforce something else that they don't allow in there.
I'm only one man. I'm not trying to fight city
No.
hall. I just, yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
You good, my man?
I'm good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll just stay over here on this side, porque no piensa que... What did he say?
Tendría que también revisar con ellos cómo va a ser la
Oh, y'all validate parking?
Thank you.
We're giving